I'm gonna speed this up. Here we go. We're in. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Stuff of Legend. My name is D-Lo, and I've got a very fun video for you guys. It's a fun video discussion about fan casting the X-Men. Very recently, I made a video talking about an X-Men TV show for the MCU that I pitched to you guys right here on the channel. And I gave you guys just a taste of the pilot. I didn't go in depth with an entire script or anything. I just gave you the gist, right? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to present my favorite candidates for each of the characters, the main characters for my script. So if you haven't seen that, I'll put that video at the end of this in post. That way you guys can just click on it when you're done watching this. Right now we're live, but once it's up for recording, you guys will have that, and you can just wait for the end of the video or jump right to it, and you can click on that to check that out. For now, I'm going to jump right in with the very first mutant that I want to start fan casting. That's going to be Cyclops, all right? Scott Summers, the leader of the X-Men. He is big, he is strong, he is a man, he's a leader. And this guy, he follows the rules, but not only that, he helps people meet their full potential. He's one of the leaders of the X-Men. He was the original leader of the X-Men, other than Professor X. And this is something I've always felt like the movies never got him right, and I want to see him done in a way that is good, it's respectable. He's not just the prick, you know, to use an irreverent word. But I wanted to get into this. So first up, we have Scott Summers, Cyclops. As you can see, big. He's always been built. In the comics, he's always got this masculine figure. Big, broad shoulders, big muscles, long arms. He's a great fighter, but he's also the one who practices restraint. He helps keep the team together. He's the one that's calling the shots and, hey, let's go here. He makes the tough calls. He stays behind to make sure everybody gets out. He's that guy. And in the 90s, I think they started to switch and change the trend with Cyclops with the TV show, and there was the episode with the Sentinels. I don't want to get too much into the weeds here, but they started to make him in the movies like he was just the guy that was getting between Jean and Wolverine, and that wasn't the way that it was originally. There is a beautiful relationship between Jean and Scott that I think needs to be shown. That's what needs to be displayed. I think we can really get somewhere here with this, but for that, I think we're going to need actors that are really good at drama, really good at leadership roles, displaying strength, being masculine. Also having stature is important, so I'm going to use that in my fan casting today. So let me go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and disable this Cyclops here, and I'm going to pull up my secondary screen where you can see I have this open. Boom. I'm going to jump right into it. All right, guys, so let's get going. So first up, we have Cyclops. My first pick is Armie Hammer, as you can already see here. I'm going to be showing you guys some of the fan art that I've seen online for this. It's some really good stuff. I know you guys, his name's been tossed around a lot of times already online, but one of the reasons for that is the guy is 6'5", okay? 6'5", 32 years old. That's not super old. That's quite young. Some of the members on this list are going to be older than that. Some are going to be younger. But it's very important to make sure that Cyclops has a very leadership type of build, type of figure. And also, if you're going to have him stand out, literally stand out among the rest, you want someone that has that kind of stature. So let's take a look at Armie Hammer really quick, and let's just click into this. Do you guys see this? This is a fan art that it looks like, I'm going to read this, Roberto Souza. I don't know the guy, but he's doing great work out here. So Roberto Souza, let me see if I can get my camera to focus again really quick. Okay. Excellent. And we'll see if it catches on. Doesn't matter. So here we've got Roberto Souza's art. He put Armie Hammer in this image here with the costume. It looks really good. If we were to get some sort of costume that looks like this, a little bit more classic, over the head type of costume would be really sweet. I don't necessarily need that type of costume, but the point here is that you can see my cursor. A Wolverine, if he's 6'5", you can take about 5 inches off. This is 6 foot. If you get an actor that's 5'10" to play Wolverine, you're looking at somebody right around his shoulder height, that's a big difference. But on camera, that'll look really cool as well. So if you do want to include somebody like Wolverine or like Iceman, you can have them have that dynamic visually where they start to really stand out. I think that is going to be huge. But not only that, the guy is a massive talent. Armie Hammer is grade A stuff. And in fact, most of the guys that I picked on this list are really talented, well-known actors in the industry that I think fit the bill visually and have the chops to pull off the type of emotion you'll need with the relationships that he's building, especially between him and Professor X as a father figure, and then also with Jean in that romance, and then also as the leader of the team. You've got to have all those things. So yes, I think he can pull off the Boy Scout, but I also think he can pull off a strong leader, and he's got that stature. That, to me, is something that would be really nice. You guys let me know down below. Here's another piece of art. I can't quite make out the name Arathri. If you see here, I don't want to click on it because I don't want to deviate too far from this, but let me see if I can go ahead and... Let me see if I can just pull this up. You guys see that? That's pretty cool. That's Armie Hammer. So I went ahead and just jumped right to that one. Let me see if I can go back this way. So next on my list, I'm going to go ahead. So Armie Hammer is 32 years old. He's right in that pocket. If you want to do a younger Cyclops, he can still kind of pull it off. If you see this picture up here, he still looks very youthful. That is a little bit ago. But it doesn't, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that much of a difference. So it would be fine if you wanted to say they were just coming out of high school. They'd already graduated. Maybe they're the first group to kind of graduate, and that's when they get to really join the X-Men. You could kind of tweak it a little bit so they could be like college age. He could pull that off for sure. The next person on my list you're gonna see me typing is Scott Eastwood. A lot of people had Scott Eastwood on their list to play Wolverine, but I don't see it that way. If you look at his face, his structure, I mean, the reason why he got picked was because he does resemble Hugh Jackman quite a bit, and I think that, yeah, I think he could also be very good in the role of Wolverine. But at the same time, the guy's 5'11", which isn't huge, but it's good stature. I mean, that's above national average. And he's got a very strong build, but not that stocky, bulky feel you want for a Wolverine. Especially if we're going to be trying to come out of the era of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, he left such a strong impression. But like I've said in the past on my Instagram, if you guys follow me there at the Stuff of Legend show on Instagram, Wolverine is just he wasn't portrayed accurately by Hugh Jackman. He was reintroduced to us in a new way, in such a lovable and enjoyable and powerful way that we kind of forgot about who Wolverine was and what he's all kind of about, and then we got this new representation. But it was so good that everybody was just like, yeah, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. That's what Wolverine is to us now. And they adapted it to fit that narrative. In the comics, they adapted it to be more Hugh Jackman-esque. It's very interesting, but I really would like to get back to the classic version of Wolverine where he is short, he's stocky. I want to emphasize his Canadian heritage. I want to get more into that. Also, I want him to be more of an outlier. I want to focus on the original 5 X-Men and Professor X and then Magneto and then the Brotherhood in the early stages. So they haven't met Wolverine yet at this point. So I want to hopefully stay away from that. But also, if you look at, this is Chris Pine here. Look at all these. I'm trying to find the one I had seen one previously, but if you just look at him, like this is James Marsden, right? This is the one from Bryan Singer's universe, which, by the way, I didn't like. I don't like James Marsden's version of of Cyclops, but it's not because of James Marsden. It's because of the way that they told this story. It was Wolverine and the X-Men, essentially. Wolverine was the star, and everybody else was kind of in his way. And I hated that. I mean, I love the movies. Don't get me wrong. I do. When I say I hate that, I mean, I wish we could get a different version, and we will. So I'll always be able to cherish all of the X-Men movies leading up. But moving forward, I would like to have more of an emphasis on the rest of the team, less on Wolverine. Gosh, I haven't talked a lot about Eastwood here, but let me see. Scott Eastwood. If I go to Instagram, let's see if I can do this. Instagram.com, and then I go. Nope, no results. Let's go. Was it James? This is my buddy James on Instagram. You guys should check him out. He does tons of great fan casting. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it in time for you guys. One of my buddies online, one of these awesome fan casters, did some crazy cool art. If you can see, there's a lot of great stuff here. Check that out. But I wanted to just show you guys. I don't think I'm gonna find it. He does so much of this stuff. Like here's what's his name? Logan Paul or what? Or not Logan Paul. What am I talking about? That's the YouTuber. But the Logan guy. He looks just like Tom Hardy. He was thinking do that guy for that. Anyway, my pick is Scott Eastwood. If you take a look at him, if you take a look at his acting, it's really good stuff. I think he could also play the Boy Scout, but I think Armie Hammer sits above that for me. I'm gonna go ahead and go to my next one. Okay, so the first one's Armie Hammer. The second one is Scott Eastwood. Scott Eastwood is also 32, just like Armie Hammer, but he is significantly shorter. He's 6 inches shorter than Armie Hammer. And I think it would be nice to have a Cyclops that is very commanding, has a commanding presence on screen. And I think we could get a lot more out of Armie Hammer than we could Scott Eastwood. Now, my next one is Matt Bomer. Okay, so I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of what's it called? Fan casting for him. Cyclops. So here's a picture someone did of him at right next to an art piece of Scott Summers, and he's got that jaw. Do you see this? Like he's got that jaw shape that's very iconic for Scott. He's got that very strong head shape, head build. Check this out. See that? Like you see, I can visualize it very well with his head and his face. A lot of people have done him as Superman as well. And I think that you could cross over actors playing Superman and Cyclops very nicely because they both have that really like corn-fed white boy, big old strong jaw, broad-shouldered, big muscles type of look. And it's very similar in that way. But I think Matt Bomer, he's got that look that is just perfect. His face and everything is just great. I think Matt Bomer, being 6 foot tall, an inch taller than Scott Eastwood, a little closer. Now he is older, but as you can see, he's aged very nicely, and so I think that he could still play that age range that Armie and Scott could. That late college type of look. I mean, you could have him play the role of a younger man, but I think it would just be up to his acting at that point. He's a great actor, and I think that he could pull that off. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump right ahead. So he's number 3. Now, here's someone that I think that I would not typically reach for, but this one did come up because I saw some cool fan castings. John Krasinski. Cyclops. So So most people, in fact, I have had him on my list for Mr. Fantastic for quite a while. But if you take a look, you know, there's been a couple people who have done some designs. This is Jessica Perez did the art for this. Interesting little piece. He's got a very different type of face and jaw shape that I think doesn't necessarily represent the character, but he is, you know, he's 6'3". He's 39 years old, a little bit older. He does actually look a little older than some of the other guys on this list. But if you are going to go with a more seasoned Cyclops, if you're going to go with maybe they've already been a team for a little while and you're going to, you know, play some flashbacks. I don't know how you want to do that, but I'm thinking that with John Krasinski, who, by the way, tried out for Captain America. He was the second runner-up for Captain America behind Chris Evans. And Chris Evans came in and he stole the show, obviously. But if you guys have seen him in like 13 Hours, he got jacked. He's big, he's strong, he's got a strong, tall, wide build. And I think that you could get a lot out of John Krasinski in the way of Cyclops being that team leader. He's very romantic. He's got the romance down. He's a charmer. He's a Boy Scout. He can take orders. He can get really serious. I think those are all qualities that you need for whoever's going to play Cyclops. So as far as acting goes, I think his acting chops qualify him for the role. I think he doesn't look as much like Cyclops in the face, but in his build, I think that it's very close. It's, you know, and I think that would be good. I think that would be at least worth having him audition. So after John Krasinski, that's number 4. I'm gonna go ahead and jump right ahead. You can see down here there's a lot of John K as like Green Lantern and Mr. Fantastic. There's a couple others that are out there, but I'm just gonna go ahead and jump ahead. I saw someone do like a Superman for him, which I thought was not a great pick, but the art looked good. Anyway, I'm gonna jump ahead. So next on my list, Liam Hemsworth. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this one, but I'm gonna see if they got the art. Yep. So here's some art for this one. It's not incredibly similar, but he does have much more of that face shape. Now, he's got some more of the rounder, smoother features, kind of like John Krasinski does. However, Liam Hemsworth is just like John Krasinski. He's 6'3", and he's 28 years old. Okay, so he's about 11 years younger than John K. And I think this puts him at the youngest slot on my list for Cyclops. So he's got that. Oops, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. My phone's going off. He's got that look. He's got the Cyclops kind of look here. You can see on this art piece. This one is not a really good matchup here, but let me see. No, it's not him. But I think that he's got the look. You put the visor on him, it'll be pretty sweet. Oh, this is way too small to zoom in. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, he can play that. He can play that Boy Scout. He can play that big, strong order taker, order giver. You know, I think it would be really good. He can play drama really well, and I think he can play trauma with a T, trauma really well. That could really emphasize the crash landing, you know, losing his parents, all of that. I think that he would be really good in that role. I would love to see him get a nice role in the MCU or the DCEU, but because I'm fan casting for Cyclops, he was someone who came to mind, and I think that he would do really nicely in that role. So that is my top 5. I also had a couple bonuses I wanted to give you guys. So here, let me see if I can get this thing to focus. No? Okay. It'll focus eventually. All right, Ryan Reynolds. My bonus, I'm going to give you 2 bonuses, actually. 2 bonus castings. Ryan Reynolds, who is currently playing Deadpool. So, as you guys know, Deadpool PG-13 is coming out, and if you guys don't go see it, if we all don't go see it, I have a sneaky suspicion that Deadpool is going to be canceled. So, I think we all need to go out for this this PG-13 Deadpool to tell Bob Iger. I want to see if I can get this camera focus. Yeah, it's having trouble. Whatever. So Deadpool 2, we need to go see it. Otherwise, I think Bob Iger is going to be like, you know what? If it's not selling in PG-13 format, I don't think we can really have it on Disney Plus. All right. So if you're gonna, if we want to see Ryan Reynolds continue as Deadpool, I think we're really going to need to go out and see this and pay the money. But it's pretty cool. I wanted to show you just Ryan Reynolds has this kind of look. He's very much an outsider as far as characteristics. Like he doesn't really behave that way very often in a serious role because he's very talented as a comedic actor. But I think I would like to see him in that role. He is 6'2". He is getting older, so you would have to cast a much older version. And you know, he does look a lot older nowadays. So I think that one's not really in the cards. Not to mention he's currently playing Deadpool. I don't think that will ever happen. It's incredibly unlikely. But I thought I'd throw that one out there just to see if you guys thought that would be something fun or interesting to see him play that. Because Hugh Jackman wasn't really. He was a theater guy. He's a Broadway guy. No one thought he was a good choice for Wolverine, especially because he was so tall. Tall theater singer guy who only did dramas. Didn't seem to fit, but they put him in there and he became everybody's favorite. So that's why I kind of thought of that one. Now, the last one I have for this one before we close out is Chris Pine. And this one is very cool. So take a look at this image right here. Someone just added the glasses. That, I think, is a really good image here to kind of show what he looks like, but it's super close. Like if you take a look, this piece of art, let me see if I can get a closer look at some of these. Look at that strong jaw he's got there. He's got this he's got the nose, the mouth shape. You put the visor on him, he basically is Cyclops. He looks just like Cyclops, which is it's really cool. I think that visually he looks great. Right now he's currently tied up with DC in Wonder Woman, so that's not really something we can look forward to in the near future. However, his character technically died in the last one, but the rumor is that they're planning to keep him in the series somehow anyway, maybe even as a flashback or dream sequences, or just you know, Diana just talking to him in her thoughts, in her mind, missing him, that kind of stuff. So he would also be great if he could get out of that contract and get all of the Chris's into the Marvel side out of DC. That would be really interesting. So that, I think, is the last one on my list. He's 6 feet tall, 38 years old, so he's one of the older ones. And I think, honestly, the best one on this list is probably going to be Armie Hammer, even though he's 32 years old. I just think that he's a great choice, being that he has the build, he's got the look, he's got the acting chops. Everyone on this list is a talented actor. Some of them seem a little bit more geared for the type of role that you're looking for, or that I'm looking for in Scott Summers, Cyclops, leader of the X-Men. I think that there's a lot that you can do with this character, and I can't wait to see more of that. So let me see. I don't know if my camera is just having a hard time focusing. This is weird. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments which of these 5 plus 2 bonuses are your favorite, and which ones you think suck and which ones are great. Who do you think is most likely to join as Cyclops? I want to hear from you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this Cyclops fan casting. Please be looking forward to the next few weeks or so. I'm going to continue fan casting for the rest of my X-Men pitch, and I'll let you guys know at the end of all this who my top picks are ultimately, and I'll come up with a final roster of those characters for you guys and then I'll start to flesh out the story. So thank you guys so much. Give this video a like if you like it. Share it with a friend. And also make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can know when I'm going live next time. You guys are the best. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.